I've looked at some of the training that you guys are doing and other programs are doing. It's like, this is professional stuff. Like, this is stuff I didn't start doing until I was a grown man. You're supplying the right form, the right medium for, these kids to have success. I mean, because there's potential everywhere. There's just as much potential up here in the North as there in the South. The South probably would say overall has a bigger culture of putting their kids in programs and things like that. Sometimes you even have no choice. It's like, you're gonna play ball or you're gonna do something else, and you're gonna learn to love it. And I think there's a big sports culture down there, especially like youth sports. I mean, youth sports is strong everywhere, depending on the sport. I mean, obviously hockey in the Northeast is big, and baseball or whatever, but football, it runs the show down there, and I definitely think a lot of kids, I'm one of them that really loved it. I just happened to be from New Hampshire, but I didn't let that stop me from believing in, myself. Hey, we're back for another episode of Small Town Famous. I'm over here with my guy, Jay Fielding, the CEO of Pact Performance. We talk about youth sports in New England. This guy, his company is the best when it comes to training our young athletes and really preparing them for whatever the next level is for them. It's whether it's, excelling in middle school, high school, or even going on to college and, even working with some young professional athletes. My man, Jay over here, he does it all. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm doing well. Yourself?
Oh, I'm great. I've definitely wanted to get you onto the podcast for a while. I've always admired your company, your product.
Thank you.
Just really everything's well polished, and I definitely love what you're doing, and I'm definitely gonna jump in myself.
We appreciate it. We're trying to get you a part of some of the skills and drills, definitely in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I know. I've just been crazy busy, but no, I'm in there. You could definitely, you could book me for that. So for those who don't know, what is Pact Performance? Can you kind of give us a little?
Right. So Pact Performance is our bread and butter is strength and conditioning, but we're pretty much football specific skills and drills.
Yeah.
In the Merrimack Valley, southern New Hampshire is where we really started. That's where our base is. And now it's really just starting to expand all throughout New England. So the overall umbrella is Pact Performance, and the many different branches we have: strength and conditioning, specific football skills and drills, receiver work, speed work, defensive back work, my linebacker university, offensive line work with Coach Peter Clifford.
Yeah, Big Pete.
Big Dog Academy's coming out with that for specific linemen, for the big linemen. And then we've had 4 years of a Pact Performance combine in the summer where kids just come. It's like a mini NFL combine.
Yeah.
We put together player profiles for them. They test on the bench. We bring the bench press right on the field. Vertical leap, 40, pro agility, and all that. So we're just continuing to expand and try to offer these kids as many different advantages and just expand our service overall in general.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talk about options, and I was talking to you before, when we were coming up, there wasn't a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of options. It was kind of like, you had whatever you were doing at the school or your uncle's old, workout routine. He'll send you to the park. But this is definitely a well-polished option that you have for the kids. Where did all this come about? Like, how did it start?
Just from my own experience, I went to Central Catholic High School, and I had a very good foundation. We had a phenomenal strength and conditioning program, a very good lifting program. My head coach was very strict with making sure we followed a program. If you were doing a sport, he would open up the weight room at 5 a.m. So we expected you to get your lifting in. We followed testing. We made sure that your progress was tested. So he found out real quickly who was buying in, who was working out. Just me, there was nothing in the area, like you said. I went to a Division III college, and I was pretty much self-taught through just trial and error. I remember my uncle told me, he played at Plymouth State in the 80s. Yeah. Told me to buy the strength shoes, right? They were from like the 80s. I'm walking around with the strength shoes. And just these outdated methods and jump roping. And I grew up in Lawrence, and you were just running up the hills, the double-deckers, just any way you could. And I was just fascinated with strength and conditioning and taking your performance to the next level. So that's where it started for me. Yeah,
it began. Like, it's you had the great foundation set by your coach. And, so was it after – like, how soon after college did you realize that I want to take this and, make a program for everyone? Did you do any coaching, or like did it start to build up?
Like I said, I was self-taught in college. I remember Division III, there was no we didn't even have a full-time strength and conditioning coach.
Wow.
And when I got there, I was like, this needs to change. So I remember, without calling it mandatory, we had 80 kids up at 5 a.m. 2 days a week, and we started doing all this stuff.
That was led by you? Or
Yeah,
like
it was just me and another kid that were captains, and I just remember just doing that. And then there was one program ran by Lawrence High's old football coach, Mike Yameen. He was ahead of the game. He had a speed camp going on for the high school kids, and I would participate in it when I was at Westfield State, and it gave me a real advantage. So doing that, once I got out of college, I started coaching at Central Catholic, and I was fortunate enough to learn for 2 years under Holy Cross's head coach, Dan Curran.
Great coach, by the way.
Great coach, great football player at UNH, ended up playing 8 years in the pros. He took me under his wing, and I learned so much from that man. I owe a lot of credit to that man on how to be a phenomenal coach, run a structured program, and his style of strength and conditioning was ahead of the game 14 years ago. So I got the chance to learn under him. And so this is just a combination of everything I've also always wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, you witnessed it, you're a part of it, you learned from some of the best, then you just formulated and made it into your own.
Yep.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like, let's talk about the beginning. Like the first Pact Performance, when first class, first training session, what did that look like?
First Pact Performance session was a one-on-one with Brandon Santel, who just graduated, played defensive end at Assumption College. He was one of their captains. I met him at Lawrence High School, and I just put him through a basic workout. Yeah. And it was one-on-one. And I actually hired him last year, and he ran our youth defensive line work in the summer. So it's a chance to give back.
Full circle, too.
That's where it started, and then it was pretty much just skills, speed and agility in any field we could find. We were just jumping fences and stuff like that for the first summer. Yeah. And then we kind of took it, and we started out doing strength and conditioning in 2019.
Gotcha. So you had him, then... What do you tell some buddies? Or
you
get a
couple
more kids?
Some kids I had at Central Catholic, some kids that just wanted to get extra work in, and it just started off as that. That was it, just myself.
Did you think it would end up or become like where it is now? Was that always a vision? Or
I had a vision of it, but I just I knew someday if I just put my head down and help the kids get results. And for me, the reason I love what we do is this is a simple philosophy, right? You put in the hard work, you're going to get good results, and it's going to transfer onto the football field. Yeah. So there's no guessing with this, so I knew it would work, and the kids had a great experience. I helped them build some confidence, and then they went off and they had great results, and then the word travels. Yeah. So
I mean, you put together a good product, you're genuine, you're authentic, and like I said, I mean, it's going to grow. Yep. No, that's incredible. So, I mean, speak to the success of Pact Performance. Obviously, the coaching's got to be there. And has it all just been, word of mouth? Have you guys, actively trying to, recruit, kids to come out and train with you guys? Or like, how did all that come about?
Combination of both. But I still think that such a effective, successful formula is word of mouth. Yeah. If you treat people good, and we try to honor everything that we promote, and if we can help kids, cool. If we can't, we'll send them somewhere else. You know? And some kids train with us and then they leave. But it really just started with the kids that I coached at Central. Yeah. And it pretty much has morphed into kids from everywhere and all over. Now I train rival schools, which is a little, I see the kids after the game. It's sometimes people bust my chops. I'm taking pictures with the team that's considered the enemy. Yeah. But for me, it's just the greater overall good of kind of helping do my part and our part to elevate the area, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It's like,
we offer our product, we offer our services. The kids that want to come train with us who are looking for an edge, great. If they want to go somewhere else, great. I mean, we really have that abundance mindset of all these programs that are out there are just great for the area. And I really believe, and I've talked to my friend who runs the Best of New England camp in Springfield, which is 800 kid camp where they get 100 schools to go to. Wow. It's just, you've seen an emergence in the last 10 years with New England football in general. Yeah. Not just kind of what we're doing, but M2 Academy, what Trevor Knight has done, what Excel Academy has done out there, and just kind of, I always felt like kids wanted to work on their skills year round, but I was always told, nah, it's football, it's the Northeast. Yeah. You put the cleats on in August. Exactly.
I always felt like I had a pretty big chip on my shoulder, especially when I went, from high school to college, and they recruit kids from all over the country. And they're like, oh, yeah, hey, I'm Kendall from New Hampshire. They're like, what?
Exactly. See, there's that kind of bias toward the Northeast, though, right?
Yeah. But I mean, that was, you know, one of the many things that fueled me, because I was like, I wanted to prove everyone wrong. I'm like, you know, football is just as good. We got just as much talent. You know, there's like a lot of untapped, you know, talent that's up here. Sure. And I think
definitely is.
With these programs, they're starting to come out, because I'm like, man, like a friend of mine, she posted like her cousins, like, and they play for over at Bedford. I mean, like, these guys are going full of scholarships for baseball, but they're incredible basketball players too, dunking on everyone. I was like, this wasn't happening, you know, not too long ago. You had a few kids that were, you know, would get after like that, but I feel like, you know, you're seeing a lot more athletes definitely come out of this area.
Oh, for sure. I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I mean, you worked with tons of great athletes, and I never want to put you in a position to pick out favorites or anything like that. But like, who are some of the kids that you work with and who have gone on to do some pretty cool stuff?
Overall, in my whole career, that I've just coached or that I've
either
trained.
Yeah, I mean, that's all part of your story. So
I would say, in no order, I got to throw Aiden Pereira in there. Mm-hmm. He was our quarterback at Central. He also did Pact Performance for 2 years. He just transferred from Maine. He came back home. He's at Merrimack. He won Gatorade Player of the Year.
Wow, yeah.
That kid was just, the bigger the competition, the bigger the stage, the better he played.
Yeah, he loved it.
Fearless. I don't want to say he was under-recruited, but, you know, 5'11" at quarterback. But that kid, we went out to Springfield Central when he was a senior.
Yeah.
And he had 10 touchdowns at Springfield Central, and we beat him 67-52.
Wow.
And he had a chip on his shoulder, because I know the kid Watson, who's a star, is at Virginia Tech. They were kind of going toe-to-toe, but that moment, and Springfield had scheduled IMG that year, so that's how good they were. Later on, they beat us at Gillette in the state title, but watching that kid do that was historic, and he made everyone around him better. He trained year-round. Preston Zinter, linebacker, true freshman at Notre Dame. Very rare. I've been coaching 13 years. I've never had a 6'3", 225-pound linebacker at the high school level that could move, smart, intelligent, phenomenal kid. He's up there. He's going to have a phenomenal career at Notre Dame.
He's got an older brother, right?
His older brother just got hurt, but he was a 3-year starter from Michigan.
Oh, wow.
He'll go in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft.
That's incredible.
Amazing family. Very down to earth.
Yep.
He was home for 3 days. He comes to one of my LBU sessions, right? He doesn't really need it, but he comes, he gives back. He's mentoring the younger kids. He's one of the people in the group. He's not like, let me teach these kids. He's just there.
Yeah.
He's grateful for it. He's one of them. Kid Joel Marillis from Brooks, he just signed his letter of intent. He's going to Georgetown University from Lawrence, Mass. He had 13 D1 offers. Navy wanted him. He's one of the best I've ever coached. He's just pure grit and
linebacker.
Yeah, he just humble background, just relentless. Trains year round, works hard, and I'm proud of him because he had some really big offers, but he chose academics. As much as athletics, and knows what he wants to study and what kind of education he wants.
That's incredible. I mean, it's a testament to you and your staff, to be able to, first of all, put together a good product, because I mean they're not coming if you aren't doing something to get them better, and just be able to stay in touch with these guys and watch them grow. I mean that's my favorite part is when they move on and continue, you get to go see them, and now they're playing on Saturdays, wherever they're going, and some guys don't even make it to Sundays, but that's incredible. And I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, and because you're getting kids from other schools. Has there been any real pushback when you receive maybe from other coaches or maybe some other parents?
I'm sure there is more behind my back.
Behind the scenes.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, some coaches are territorial by nature, and they should be. I mean, I coach at Central Catholic, and the formula has always been do school sports, which I still push, and I still offer training at the same time. And I'm at the point I always look at what's best for the kid, no matter what. And this is going to tie in to answer your question. And if a kid's like, Coach, I want to come train with you, I'm like, do track and come see me at night. Compete. You can't take away the aspect of competition.
Yeah.
Now I'm confident in the results we deliver with strength and conditioning, and there's many different ways to skin a cat, but I still want the kids to compete, be around their teammates, because you do get something from lifting with your teammates in the weight room.
Absolutely.
And even the school I coach at, we push that first, and I'm like, nothing, this is separate, Pact Performance is separate.
Yeah.
And some of the other coaches, I could tell at first we weren't getting a lot of kids from rival schools because I was told, well, it's a Central Catholic recruiting ground and all this. I work with kids from rival schools all the time, and it's gotten to the point where at first I was worried about offending the school I coached at and this and that, but I think that I have a great relationship with Wyndham's head coach, Londonderry's head coach. I was talking to him the other day. I think coaches know my word is good, and everyone has this misconception of parochial schools driving through the towns and offering kids scholarships and recruiting, but it's really not the case. And
furthest thing from
we
the
offer
truth.
what we offer.
Yep.
If you want to come get what we have and we can help you out, great. And if you don't, you won't. But I don't take it personal. And we've had kids from, I don't know, we had 45 kids all conference this year that we've worked with from all different towns. And my biggest thing is you put kids from rival schools together in a training group and it elevates the group.
Yes.
It elevates the group. I've had kids from smaller schools say, that kid plays D1. My feet were just as quick as his. And I'm like, yeah, what'd you think? Like, and it gives kids confidence, and they all raise their level.
That, to your point, I think that's the best part about allowing these guys to get together, because it's that competition. Like, this is the guy I'm competing with. Like, he's at so-and-so school. Like, I want to get more tackles than him. But, like, when they train together, it's, iron sharpens iron. Both of those guys are gonna get better. Then, in the back of the head, they're still rooting for each other, too.
And then they bond, which is cool too. Because when I grew up, you stayed in your city. You didn't like this kid, you didn't like that school, you didn't like that school. And then as you got older and you matured, you were like, wow, I have a lot in common with this person.
Yeah.
Or
I'm like,
we were very similar.
We would have been boys if we were from the same town,
exactly.
Because it's that alike, mindset that, guys compete and have. And to your point, man, that competition, breeds excellence. And, it's definitely, incredible. What are some of the challenges you see with, like, in general, young athletes, and sometimes maybe the pressure that they put on themselves? What are some of the things that you're seeing?
I'd say for me, because I was this type of kid where some of them put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
I need to go D1. You don't understand, coach. I need to go D1. Well, what happens if you don't? Do you have a fallback option? Because it's so competitive out there now.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to talk about the transfer portal. But they do put so much pressure on themselves. And a lot of times as a coach, you get more phone calls about playing time and training and progress than you do about kids' academics.
Yeah.
And we have great parents that we work with. I've thoroughly enjoyed the parents, and that's the best part about what we do. But I think today a lot of it kind of comes from pressure at home for these kids to get scholarships, or you're going to end up where you're going to end up, right? It's all going to work itself out. But these kids are so like, I have kids now in freshman year, I need film. Do you have film? Can you put together? I'm like, relax. You're 15. Like, I just put your film together. It was 25 seconds. Like, when the time is right, we'll get your film. We're going to take care of the seniors first, but train hard, work hard, get good grades in the classroom, and it's going to take care of itself. But there's such a rush now. I have to do this. I need film. I need to transfer to prep school. I need to stay back. I need to go here. I need to contact this person. I need to get recruited, and it's kind of like,
relax.
Yeah,
work your ass off.
Coach Clifford says it. People don't allow themselves to be perfect where they are in the moment anymore. And I see the pressure. I get contacted sometimes by parents of kids that are like 8 years old. When can he start lifting? I'm like, not for another 5 years.
Yeah, go have fun. Go run around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that type of pressure from the kids and from maybe family members and just society saying that, like, you're only great if you go to the highest division. Yeah,
and it's like at the end of the day, you put in the effort and you're doing everything you can. You got to be happy with the results. Back to Pact Performance. What's the future for Pact Performance? Or like I know you got a bunch of programs. You're training not only football but other sports as well. Where do you see this growing into?
I think we will continue to expand.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things coming up, and I've learned to kind of pause and not jump at every opportunity. But we are definitely going to start offering more of our skills and drills year round, where we just kind of did that in the summer.
Yeah.
Where it was just kind of our summer camp. And it's always been, you know, high school, some middle school kids, but I think we're going to add another camp. You and I talked about it. We're definitely going to add some 3-day camps. And just the positional stuff. Marshawn Gilliard is going to do some wide receiver stuff. Coach Cirillo, who's the backbone, he's my number 2. He's going to do some defensive back work. Last year we brought in Jonas Gray, former Patriot, to work with the running back. So we just want to continue to bring in top quality, first of all, good people and good coaches to kind of just up the level and definitely continue to add to our combine and stuff like that and just expand with our strength and conditioning. And just we're starting to do school accounts too. We did Wyndham, North Andover High School. Just try to help as many kids as we can. Yeah,
it's definitely incredible what you guys are doing. And, you know, like I said, I'm a big fan. I'm honestly a little jealous of the kids I get to train with you guys, but
well, you've done a great job. You helped Presley Titus. I know he was training with you, and you got some good stuff going on too. So.
Yeah, no, he's great, and like I said, I got 3 little ones, but I still always got a little bit of time for football because you know, like we were saying, man, if you don't use it, you lose it, and I definitely don't want to lose, you know, all the things I was able to learn over my time. So we definitely want to get some camps going with you this summer. So all right, we got some hot takes, you know, kind of just what's going on currently with, you know, sports, coaches, all that other stuff. Big one, the transfer portal. You know, with the transfer portal, you know, being so easy for students to transfer from school to school, like what's some of the effects you've seen on high school recruiting?
Definitely a hot take.
Yeah.
I think another great addition to what we do is I really try to push and help kids, not just when they're sending money, but when their recruiting is done. If they need an extra bump, and the high school coaches do a really good job. But if we can post something on Twitter, we have some colleges following us and help put them on a platform, great. But the transfer portal has made D2 schools are like now D1 schools.
Yes.
And D3 is now D2. And I tell these kids now, you're not competing against other 18-year-olds now. You're competing against a 23-year-old who's transferring in. And unfortunately, the way society is with the pressure and instant gratification, these coaches aren't getting 5-year runs anymore. They got to win right now, 1 or 2 years, right? And so they have to win. So who are they more likely to grab? A grad transfer who's 21, more physically developed, more mature, maybe knows how to handle his academic course load, or take a chance on a 19-year-old who may not be physically ready. They have to win right now. It has made recruiting very difficult for high school kids.
I got a couple buddies that coach at the college level, and they're like, I mean, to your point, it's a win right now game. I mean, they're going to take, you know, some of those high school kids that are more polished, you know, and they got a good chance at, but also they got to supplement in a lot of those guys willing to transfer and come in. I remember my recruiting class was like 25 freshmen, 2 transfers, and like maybe 1 kid from JUCO. Now these classes are looking like 12 freshmen, you know, 12 transfers, you know, a bunch of kids from JUCO. So it's definitely squeezed, you know, the amount of, you know, kids that could come in. But
let me put you on the spot. Do you think, I hate using the term fair because life is not fair. You know what I mean? And I reshared a tweet the other day, but what do you think about certain kids who are still playing at 24, 25? They may take a year off. They may PG. They may, if you redshirt and you get injured, I understand. But now you have certain kids that are 24 years old that are competing against, 18-year-olds coming right out?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, but like for some of those guys, it was injuries. You know, a lot of those big names you'll see, and I think like maybe what's considered a medical red shirt, that terminology might have changed. 'Cause I know like those are pretty hard to get, you know, back in the day, and you kind of got to go through like a application process. So I don't know if that's easier. But yeah, I mean, you definitely see some older guys playing. I'm fine with it just because I've played with some guys who served the country, came back and played football. I played with guys that played in Canada. They came in. I know guys that are 21-year-old freshmen. You know, at the end of the day, I mean,
it just is what it is, right? That's the new landscape of.
It is what it is.
Just adapt and adjust to it.
You know, I mean, especially if you continue to play. I mean, you're gonna be 22 playing against some guys that are maybe 35 or 32 years old. So hey, I mean, if that 24-year-old guy in college still wants to keep playing, more power to him.
Yeah.
You know, that he was able to keep their bodies together and keep playing. But yeah, I think it's I got no issues with that. Another question I had is how important is it for the coaches in terms of recruiting to college, that role that they play? You also coach other kids at other schools. as as the leader of Pact Performance, have coaches called you to talk about a kid that you might not even coach football-wise that has come to train with you? Yeah.
Through my connection, but doing the Best of New England camp, a guy, Steve Martin, who's a phenomenal human being, he's out there. He's all about the kids. The kid Joel Marillis got offered from Navy, and I ended up bringing him down there, and I was in contact with the Naval Academy coordinator, who's a great guy, Jason McDonald, and I spoke about the kid's character. And I also let the kids know, like, if you think it's all football, they didn't really talk to me too much about football. They were asking what type of person he is, how does he respond to adversity, can you vouch for his character? So, yeah, any chance I have to push for these kids. It's also a little challenging, too, to be brutally honest, because I think some colleges think that, oh, this guy gets paid, the kids pay him to train him, he's going to say whatever they want. But I'm not going to send college kids a kid that has spotty character. I had some really talented kids reach out to me. Coach, I'm going to need your help with recruiting. I said, listen, based on your attendance and your attitude at the field sessions, I said, there's nothing wrong with you doing the field sessions. I said, a couple coaches gave me feedback that you were not buying in and back-talking them. I said, I'm going to give you one more shot this summer, but if I see that, that's not part of the culture that we promote. You're doing peace signs to kids in 7. That's not what we do here. Kids aren't coming to get embarrassed. We're coming to compete and get better. So coaches will reach out and I will talk to them and I'll say, listen, I played against this kid, and I try to push for kids even that are at rival schools. If I think a kid's a good player, I'll say, this kid's legit. You got to look out for him. Yeah,
I mean, you definitely, speaking to the kid's character, I mean, that's huge because they can see the film. They could see what they're doing on the field, but to be able to attest to their work ethic and things like that, it's huge because sometimes that relationship with the high school coach or the coaches in the colleges is huge because, if you're sending them some BS, that's going to come back. Then later down the road, when you do have a guy, they might not take your word for it. So
in academics, you have to have good grades. This isn't the 70s where I always talk to Jermaine Wiggins, who's a good friend. He's like, no books, no looks. It's so simple with the kids because I wasn't the greatest student. I had to work hard just to get like a 3.0 studying. But with these kids, like, you have to have something you're going to fall back on. And you have to – it's so competitive out there right now. If they have a kid that's a great football player and they're looking at a scholarship and you have a 2.8 and one kid is a 4.0, who are they going to take? Who's more reliable? So
who can you trust? Who is going to put in the extra effort? And
Exactly.
No, that makes sense. And when I speak to kids all the time, I tell them, I was just like, I was fortunate to be able to go play at the highest level. But I was done. I was 27 years old. I still got a whole lot of life left after that. And, that education piece is important because it's, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? I mean, if you didn't, having that degree, being in a certain field, like that's going to help you, for the rest of your life. Because, I mean, football, I mean, it's temporary. I mean, you're not playing anymore. I'm not playing anymore. But it's just.
And how much did everything you learned, help you in life?
Oh, I mean,
what you learned in football and the type of person you are.
I would say the biggest thing is consistency. Everyone's always looking for a secret. They're always looking for.
That's so true.
What could I like? Just show up,
quick,
do it every day, and work your ass off.
And it's gonna suck most of the time. You're gonna be exhausted.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be fun.
I need motivation. No, you don't. Discipline every day. Every single day, and it's hard. And
it's that lifelong journey because you gotta love the journey because you're always on it. As an athlete.
It never ends.
A never-ending journey. Then, when that's done, you get into real life in the business world, that's what you're on to. And if you develop, the right mindset on how to approach that journey, it definitely doesn't make, life easier. Life always has its challenges, but you understand what needs to be done to get, the results that, that you're looking for. It's just consistency, working your ass off, and always just being a sponge, learn. Surround yourself with smart people. I've learned a lot just, associating myself with people who've done it or who have a deep knowledge of whatever field we're in. You always got to continue to seek that knowledge. And I know you mentioned, like, you're going to these clinics, you're learning from kids bringing back stuff. It's like you got to be a sponge because everything's always changing, everything's adapting. And if you don't adapt with it, you get left behind. So I think having that adapt mindset, being consistent and working your ass off.
Having that abundance mindset. I know you're friends with them. I've literally gone in and sought advice from Tony Hampshire and Jake. They've been mentors to me, and you know, they're not like, well, you do fitness, strength, and conditioning. It's like, no, it's they give me good advice. They don't really have anything to gain from helping me, but it's almost like there's an abundance out here. Not to sound too like, but there's so much out here for people to help each other out. And when you have that fear of scarcity and this and my way, it just limits us from what we can know. And I want to bring in people that I can learn from. And when I was younger, my dad worked construction. He used to always tell me, kid, I bang nails for a living. I'm not college educated, but he used to just say, when I was a little kid, he could see how much I loved it and I was obsessed. Just use this as a tool. Yeah. You're going to need this someday. Use it as a tool. If you want to quit, I'll love you if you play the piano, but you're not going to quit mid-season. Yeah. All this is a tool. And if I didn't have football, I think it kept me out of a lot of trouble growing up in Lawrence, without a doubt. And through my own personal struggles in my 20s and early 30s. Yeah. I won't get into right now, but the football was always there for me. Yeah. My coach took me, you know, I had a coaching job at Central, and it brought me back. And then finally, through my own personal struggles in life, I said, I'm starting what I love, and this is what I love the most, is just not just working with kids that are going to go, this kid's not Division I, I'm not working with them, but giving kids an outlet and an escape and a coping mechanism, because let's be honest, life is going to hit some of these kids in the face, and what are they going to do to respond to that? Yeah. And that's kind of what I've learned through football, and it's given me all my connections, all my network, all the relationships I have, and now it's just time to give back.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about transfer portal. This other thing is NIL. I'm not sure if I still even fully understand how that works with recruiting. Do you have any idea? And do you think it's good for college sports? What do you see? And does that start like?
Listen,
recruit like. I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble.
I don't want to say I'm in the I don't want to say I'm in the dark with it, but you know, you're always looking at things you can offer for services. And now I have these kids, and a kid will buy a hoodie off me or something. They're like, Coach, we'll do a post and I'll tag NIL. I know how the game works. And I'm like, man, I don't want to get into the whole, you know. And then I have certain kids I work with, and again, just like the person you are. Now, I've always heard about you, and this is, you've done nothing but help people in the community. You have a good name, and you're crushing it in real estate because you genuinely care about people. And if you didn't, people would see through it. People want to be around you. And with some of these kids, they'll message me, hey, do you know this guy? And it'll be some kind of sketchy guy on Twitter, and he wants me to be a part of his brand. And I'm like, listen, I don't want to bash anyone's hustle, but just be careful. Yeah. And the kid will tell me, I went to this guy's place, and he took pictures, and he had me, he told me he wants me to sign something and wear his brand. I'm like, stay away, because now people are starting to see the dollar signs with these kids.
Oh, my goodness.
And now they think that they can get their name, image, and likeness, and it's something I try to stay away from, for sure.
But at some point, it's like we're going to have to understand it, because it's...
But some of the kids should be compensated, right? Not everybody's going to play in the pros, and some of those kids are helping contribute to 100,000 people in the stands at those big schools. So should they be financially compensated while they're in college?
Absolutely.
I don't know about it at the youth levels, though, and the high school levels.
No, definitely not. I mean, by the time you're college, I mean... You're 18, 17 older, you're grown. You still got a lot of maturing to do, but you're an adult at that point. I mean, when it comes to the kids, I mean, that's all got to be on the parents. But I'm also wondering, I'm like, do you got to like hire an agent to like look at these contracts when these NIL things, or like?
I would say,
or like an attorney,
right?
Yeah, like.
I don't know.
How deep is this thing going?
Does someone profit off of your NIL once you get to the pros 10 years later? I'm sure they have contracts out there. I don't know enough about it. I shouldn't even really speak too much about it. But
I guess my only take on, like I said, with the little bit that I know is, I mean, I think there's probably got to be some sort of thing governing it. I think 100% the kids should get paid, you know, for their likeness, but there's got to be something that controls it, even if it's just a little bit, because I mean, who knows what's going on. I was talking about it with some of my buddies. I was like, I mean, I was a D lineman. I wasn't, you know, super popular, but I think I would, you know, probably would have got, you know, some free Subway and, you know, maybe a few $100 on campus. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
A couple more things. Do you think that played a role with Coach Saban retiring? You know, just how different college sports is? Or do you think he was done?
I don't know. I saw the quote. Who was it from? Reggie Bush? That said he doesn't have any control over these 5-star recruits anymore. But, I mean, the guy is how old?
72.
72. And, look, I mean, look at his body of work. He
Yeah.
followed Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
You could argue he's done more than Bear Bryant. Look what he's built. And does he run out of energy? I mean, he doesn't have any control over the 5 stars. They were still in the college football playoff for competing for it, right?
Yeah,
so it's not like they were mediocre.
Yeah, it's not like they were going 6-6. I mean,
but maybe the game has changed for some of those guys that, I mean, if you're a college kid and you do have a strong ego, because athletes have a strong ego, if you're getting a $10 million NIL deal, is part of you saying, do I have to listen to this coach?
Yeah.
I got people in my ear saying, you shouldn't even play the last 4 games. You got the NFL draft coming up. So
as I roll up to the facility in my Mercedes.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's just, Kendall, the game has changed so much for these kids are selfish. They're sitting out for the last bowl game. What if they blow a knee and that is their one opportunity?
But it does present like a crazy dynamic, because you could have on one end, somebody super popular, national recruit making millions a year. Then on the same team, you got probably a bunch of those kids don't have any deals at all. And it's just like, does that cause any
on the team and stuff, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
sure it does.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, here goes fucking so-and-so driving around in his thing again. And
coach told him he has to just go out in uppers today.
Yeah, who knows? Then last couple things, I assume you're a Pats fan, but I could be wrong.
Of course, yeah.
All right, so Bill Belichick, I mean, 24 years, I believe, of incredible service to New England.
You a Pats fan?
Yes. So I would say I grew up diehard. I played, and obviously, I felt like at that level, it's like I still really like the Pats, but for a while they're a competitor. So I kind of it was hard to root for somebody when you're now
how cool was it though, playing at Gillette?
I never actually got to play there. They came out to San Diego. So now I'm just like a fan. I'm just a fan of sports. I love good stories. Like I love what Buffalo's doing. Because they were historically not great for a long time. I'm a huge sports fan, but I still do like the Pats. A big fan, but I'm not diehard anymore. I don't lose sleep if I don't lose sleep if they lose. Back in the day, I mean, some people they can't talk, for 2 days if they lose. I'm indifferent, but definitely grew up a big fan. But
we've been spoiled in this area. Let's just say
for sure. For sure.
The Lions, one playoff win in 32 years.
Yeah.
And we're like, we haven't won a Super Bowl in 4 years.
Yeah.
He's lost his touch.
Yeah.
Time to go. Like, Lions had one playoff win in 32 years.
Yeah, and they look good.
Yeah, they do.
They look good. I've been impressed. So like for me, like I go to Detroit and go see a game. Me and my wife were actually thinking about it the other day. We just love it. We love sports. We're sports junkies. So like one of the things that we're trying to do now, or the kids are a little bit older, and we could have someone watch them, is because throughout my career I was always in the game playing, but like I'm a huge fan now. I want to get that fan perspective. Like I want to go to Penn State, during the whiteout. I want to go to LSU. I want to see all these awesome stadiums just because, like, I love the game, and all these schools and colleges and teams have a completely different experience when you go to there. So, yeah, me and my wife, we've been going to a couple of games a year at a bunch of different universities.
That's awesome.
And professional level, whatever it is, because, sports is really it's the best reality TV. I mean, that's what it really is.
It really is, and it brings people together.
And just a side story. So we went to UT, University of Texas.
Oh, how was that?
Incredible. It was incredible. I went with a couple of my buddies that I grew up with. We went out there, obviously being in Austin. It's a great city, but, besides the people we came with, I don't know anybody out there. And, they have an incredible setup. I think it's called Bevo Way, right around the whole stadium. They got, like, everything that you could ever want at a tailgate. Is like they got, like, beer gardens and food, DJs, and people on zip lines. And, like, it was incredible to see. And, like, everybody does it so different. And, to be able to see and be a part of that, I think it's been pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
So back to what we were talking about. What do you think is next?
I don't know. I'm here in Philly, Atlanta.
Yeah.
People think knee-jerk reaction with the way the Cowboys played the other day. I mean, don't you think he wants to go somewhere where it's already kind of built? I don't think he wants to do a rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like because of who he is, he's a pretty decent team with a decent roster is going to take him. He's not going to have to...
They have to have a quarterback, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
You have to have one now.
Everyone has to have a quarterback.
You have to.
Yeah.
The days of just having the Baltimore Ravens defense with Trent Dilfer and just holding a team to 10 are gone. The offenses are too good. Play callers are too good nowadays.
Well, and especially like the way that the game's called has definitely allowed, you had some safeties, some linebackers that are intimidated. You weren't coming across the middle back in the day. Now it's
changed. It definitely has, for sure.
So, I think the Philly take on Bill is crazy because, he's won, like, Nick Sirianni's won 37 games.
They are.
It's a skid. It happens. I feel like...
They're unforgiving in Philly also.
Yes, that is true.
They're throwing popcorn at him as he's leaving the stadium. It's like, you were in the Super Bowl a year ago.
Yeah, I think for someone to... If they ever did make a move, that something had to be going on behind the scenes because, he's done way too much good over there to... Even if you do have a slide, to be on thin ice that quickly. So, but wherever Big Bill ends up, man, I'm rooting
for him.
Yeah, like it's like you're almost like an instant fan. Like
just enjoying these guys.
Yeah,
right. Just enjoying the Sabins,
the
Belichicks, guys like that. Because then when they do retire, you just witness greatness.
Yeah.
When are you going to see a guy do what he just did? Sirianni, they're talking about getting rid of him year what?
3 years.
And he was just in the Super Bowl. All due respect to Philly, do you forget who you were? You won 1 in 50?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you want this guy gone, so wish him well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But hey, man, thanks for coming on. It was a blast. I always love chopping up. And sports always has a deeper connection with me because, that's who I am to the core. So thanks for coming on. Definitely, we're going to link and get some camps going on.
I appreciate you taking the time and having me. And this platform's been awesome. And I've always wanted to sit with you, and I've heard nothing but great things. And just kind of looking forward to working together in the future.
Absolutely, hey man. Thanks for I had you over here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.